This is the Atari Jaguar, the 64-bit powerhouse first released in the United States all the way back in 1993. Selling fewer than 150,000 units, chances are you never actually got to own a Jag or its even less successful CD add-on. In fact, if you've heard about the system at all, it's probably from one of the many websites that have named it among the worst video game consoles of all time. While I strongly disagree with that take, there's no getting around the fact that the Jaguar was home to a lot of crummy games and questionable ports. In total, there were 50 games released for the 64-bitter between 1993 and 1998. Electronic Gaming Monthly managed to review 27 of them, which is more than half. Unfortunately, they missed out on some of the more memorable titles like Fight for Life, Club Drive, Kasumi Ninja and Attack of the Mutant Penguins. But hey, they did manage to cover most of the biggest hitters. In this episode of EGM Ranks, I want to use their own words to count down all 27 games they reviewed. Will your favorite game come out on top? Find out now as we do the math and reveal Electronic Gaming Monthly's top 27 Atari Jaguar games.
Some of you believe your system is the most advanced in the universe. Let's review the numbers. Sega Genesis is 16 bits. 3DO is 32 bits. The Atari Jaguar is 64 bits. Which is more advanced? Clifford! With 64 bits, 3D graphics, real-world animation, and lightning speed that you can only get with Jaguar. Which is more advanced? Clifford!
Can you repeat the question?
Jaguar! Jaguar! Jaguar!
Alright, up first we have number 27, Blue Lightning on the Jaguar CD. I'm sorry, but this game doesn't cut it. Blue Lightning looks and plays like a bad Commodore 64 game. Heck, even the Lynx version was better. The gameplay is surprisingly slow, and when you do a barrel roll, the whole game slows down. The audio is average for a CD game, nothing special. If you're gonna have a game on a 64-bit CD-ROM system, it should at least be able to compete with a 16-bit flight sim. Give me more Afterburner or Air Diver any day. Number 26, Aircars. What is this? Somebody please tell me that this isn't a Jaguar game. Tell me that I'm not playing an Atari 2600. Aircars suffers severely from very poor graphics and not very special effects. Worse yet, the control needs heavy refinement as it's difficult to direct your movement. About the only redeeming quality is the ability to play with up to 4 players, which doesn't save it. Number 25, iWar. iWar is simply a polygon game where your main goal is to cruise around, shoot some shapes in each level, and then find the exit. The shaded polygons aren't the best in the world, but that's not even the problem. The problem is excitement. There is none. Even the bonus levels in the game will put you to sleep. iWar is simply nothing more than a graphically enhanced version of the old Atari 2600 game Combat. Could this be a game that's not even worth a rental? Number 24, Trevor McFur in the Crescent Valley. For one of the first games for the new Atari Jaguar system, Trevor is very disappointing. The graphics are very nice, but the game is not very challenging, not to mention the controller cramps your hand. Surely they can do better. Number 23, Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. More or less a run-of-the-mill action fighter game that follows the movie. There are plenty of moves to learn, and the graphics are so-so. The only problem is that the movie was released a while ago. It feels like it's too little, too late. Number 22, Super Burnout. This game runs out of gas before the first turn. The night races were interesting, but the frame rate is something that needs improvement. I guess I've been spoiled by playing Ridge Racer and Daytona. This game is definitely a step backwards from those games. The bottom line is that I didn't have fun playing it. After I went through the various tracks, I found myself putting it back in the box. Number 21, Cybermorph. I'll have to admit that I expected more from the all-powerful Jaguar, but this is a first-generation title. Cybermorph offers some cool features like nicely shaped polygons and non-linear movement, but the sound effects were horrible and Skylar was a nuisance. The idea of finding pods on a planet got old quickly. There was a lot of strategy involved in making Cybermorph a decent first title. Number 20, White Men Can't Jump. I didn't find myself taken to the air too often with White Men Can't Jump. The half-court perspective isn't impressive at all. Some of the trash talk from the announcer is cool after you take it to the hoop, or make a three-pointer, or get rejected. But the game is still too blocky looking, and the control isn't where it should be. You can count me out on this b-ball action. I'm hooped out. Number 19, FlipOut. I generally like puzzle games, but lately I've been finding out that maybe I don't like them as much as I used to. The graphics are blurry and not very clear, except for the actual tiles. The concept of flipping tiles is okay, but to have all these tiles in the air and juggling them to the correct spots just bored me after a while. Admittedly, it takes a little while to get used to, but it still left me frustrated with not enough incentive to move on. A decent concept, but not enough to keep my attention. Number 18, Atari Karts. This game rates high in the cuteness department, but low on technique. Although the scenery changes, each race is an exercise in repetition. Pick up icons and don't hit anything. The game was easy to learn, and it looked like a Mario Kart hybrid. I just wish that it offered a greater variety, such as a battle arena mode, perhaps. Number 17, Alien vs. Predator. I'm a big fan of both the Alien and the Predator movies, and this game's graphics are good enough to pull you right into the game. Unfortunately, the gameplay was not very well thought out. You almost always take a hit when fighting, and you can't even jump over acid. Also, why do the aliens leave the bodies around? That's not like them. Where's the music? Is that an option that I missed? It's okay as far as I'm concerned. Number 16, Double Dragon 5. Compared to the other Jag fighting games, it does play okay, but it's still below par for most other systems. The game actually plays better on the Super NES and doesn't look all that different. The biggest problem, once again, is the lack of control. Sure, it may be one of the most playable ones so far, but it still isn't good enough for the fighting fanatic. I never cared for this game too much, and this version hasn't changed my mind. If you have a Jag, you might want to check it out. Number 15, Raiden. Despite what my comrades say about this game, I think that Raiden is an above-average shooter. While it never got much attention from me in the arcade, Raiden does offer plenty of excitement, especially in the later levels. The music really shows what the Jaguar can do given enough time. Plenty of power-ups, nice bombs, and big bosses add up to a fun time. Now, if we could only get more games like this. Number 14, Syndicate. You're looking at the best home translation of Syndicate, yet the graphics, sound, and missions all rival the excellent PC and Mac versions to the pixel. An added bonus is the adjustable zoom feature for the Jaguar. The controller does a fair job of moving the character around, but all the buttons take some time to get acquainted with. If strategy games are your thing and you love blowing stuff up, then Syndicate will do nicely.
You want games? Jaguar's got fast 3D 64-bit games. You want slow, flat games? No. Slow is for turtles, flat is for boards, fast and 3D is for games. Jaguar games. So scary you'll cry like a whimpering fool. But you won't feel like a fool because the games won't be flat and slow, flat, slow, flat, slow. Heard enough and get fast and 3D. Games that are now playing, games that are coming soon. Games that get a 10 because they've got a good beat and you can dance to them. You want fast 3D games? Here's an idea. Atari Jaguar, 64 bits, $159. Yeah, $159. Do the math. Let's see what this TV can do.
And we're back with number 13, NBA Jam Tournament Edition. How many versions of NBA Jam are there gonna be? I'm getting pretty tired of this game, but its translation over to the Jaguar works well. Same power-up, same hotspots, same old. I've done the math, and this game will keep Jaguar fans happy, as well as those who don't own Tournament Edition for any other system. Number 12, Dino Dudes. Dino Dudes is essentially Lemmings and Humans for the Jaguar. If you like strategy games of that type, then you'll probably find it of interest. The graphics are pretty good, and the control is adequate. An okay game. Number 11, Bubsy and Fractured Furry Tales. The Talkin' Bobcat is back! Bubsy fans will love this version of the popular character, and this one will prove challenging to even the most hardened veterans of the series. The levels are huge, the graphics are very detailed, and the sound is equally impressive. Non-Bubsy fans probably won't be converted, but those raised on the feline will obviously take to the character. Just one quibble though. The control could be tweaked a bit. Otherwise, it's a fine game. Number 10, Troy Aikman, NFL Football. The play control is a little better, but it still isn't where it should be for a big-time football game. The characters are huge, and the game looks great. It's a step up from Troy's 16-bit games, and the play options are very good. Especially the play selector accelerator, which adds to the realism of the game. It was a good, solid effort, and the game is still fun to play. For the most part. Number 9, Theme Park. At first glance, this game looks like it could be a real blast, and it is. But you're gonna need real patience to get anywhere in this game. First off, the text is incredibly tiny, and if you're playing through an RF cable, you better be prepared for eye pains. Second, the menus are a nightmare to navigate through at first. However, once you get these problems sorted out, you'll find Theme Park to be a decent simulation game. Number 8, Zool 2. This is a pretty good version of the pint-sized ninja character, enhanced by the addition of the playable female character. As usual, the levels are huge, but at times are visual overkill. Not a bad game, though. Number 7, Doom. The computer version is an excellent game, and this one retains many of the same aspects. All the weapons and levels are faithfully reproduced. There are several drawbacks, though. First off, the sounds just aren't there. And there's no save game feature to let you thoroughly explore and test situations. Overall, it is a good reproduction, but after playing the computer version so much, it doesn't compare. Number 6, Wolfenstein 3D. This Jaguar version of the PC game is superior in many respects. For one thing, the graphics are much crisper, which makes it easy to identify enemies from afar. Plus, the music and sound effects have been dramatically improved. I especially like the auto map feature. The only drawback that really hurts the game is that your character moves through the levels way too fast, making it tough for precision aiming. Number 5, Iron Soldier. A surprisingly good combat simulator with excellent polygon graphics. There are several combat systems to master, using guns and even the robot's fist to destroy buildings and enemies. One of the best features in the game is being able to pick your combat area rather than just starting at the same one. The control takes a little while to get used to, especially with the various buttons. But this is a very good Battlezone-esque title. Number 4, Cannon Fodder. Finally, a game that doesn't stress your brain and leaves you to some mindless shooting. There's some strategy, but the fun of it is the simple move and shoot gameplay that is a great stress reliever. The characters are small, but they have a cute, almost Lemmings appeal. If you're tired of the same old texture-mapped, high-end looking graphics, this game will hit the spot. Number 3, Rayman. Rayman seems to be one of the coolest new characters to come along, and Ubisoft is more than happy to put him on every system. This Jaguar edition definitely has some colorful graphics and incredible animation. Side by side, the PlayStation and Jaguar versions are nearly identical, right down to the perfect animations. My only gripe is, alas, the control. It's hardly noticeable except for the jumping. Otherwise, Rayman is terrific and worth the price of admission. Number 2, Baldies for the Jaguar CD. Baldies is a fun and comedic strategy game comparable to a cross between Warcraft and Lemmings. At first glance, Baldies looks like just another shallow puzzle game. But in actuality, it's a challenging strategy-based title that incorporates a little humor and a lot of planning. Dropping skunks in the enemy base and launching a surprise attack by concealing troops in trees are just some of the high points in one challenging stage in Baldies. Gamers should try it. And finally, the number 1 Jaguar game, Tempest 2000. This is the type of game I want to see on the Jag. This title brings back memories of my arcade hopping days. The vector graphics are great, and the music is also superb. What really makes this game perfect is that it's new. I'm very tired of the Me Too type games, and nothing done on any other system to date even comes close to Tempest. If you have a Jaguar, you have to get this game. It's a great game to zone out on.
This part of the brain controls the subject's emotions.
Hey, get off my lawn!
This part controls hunger.
Hey, you gonna eat that?
This controls sexual impulses. This controls rational thought.
Why would I buy a 32-bit system for $300 when I can get a 64-bit Jaguar system for $149?
Atari Jaguar 64-bit, $149.
Knock it off!
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of EGM Ranks. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we have a whole bunch of these types of episodes, including EGM ranking game franchises as diverse as Resident Evil, Sonic the Hedgehog, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're going to be looking at more of these consoles in the future, so go ahead and let me know what episode you want to see next. Now, here's the question I have for you. What is your favorite Jaguar game? Or have you even played a Jaguar? Trust me, if you've never played any of these games before, then the right answer is Tempest 2000. I'm serious, it's not even close. Let me see your picks in the comments below. We'll be back next week with a look at the newest Nintendo 64 game coming to the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,